Yo! Good morning everyone, Sanjay Uchiha here and welcome back to the channel, and here we have it, the final episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Well, at least part 1 of what they're dubbing part 1 of the Boruto anime, with part 2, announced to be already in the works. Now, I know this is, I would expect it's a surprising tidbit for a lot of persons, but at the same time not surprising. Reason being is that, given the state of the Boruto anime over the last few episodes, I think persons are surprised that, well, they're not surprised, but they're at the same time surprised, given that I think most of us expected that the final pre-time skip episode would have been part 1 and the first episode of part 2 would have been the first episode of the time skip, similar to Naruto transitioning into Naruto Shippuden. But I guess what it is. It's been officially announced a few weeks ago that this would be the case. Link to the article that they put out on the official Naruto website, or at least I'll show it on screen here if anything. So yeah, that seems to be the plan, with them planning to actually put out a few original Naruto episodes in October, if I'm not mistaken. It's anyone's guess when the Boruto anime will actually make a return. Give or take at least 6 months from now, but my best bet, I would say maybe even a year, to say the least, because at the end of the day, if we come back 6 months later, we'll still be in the same situation of the anime being extremely close to the manga, give or take. So it is what it is. But the idea would have been to do a dedicated retrospective piece or video or something when it comes on to my overall thoughts on the Boruto anime, just to kind of commemorate the moment. And I might still do that. The idea is that I'll probably do a live stream between 6 and 7 Eastern Standard Time and really give my thoughts, which might be just repetitive of all, like a compilation of all my thoughts and critical analysis of the Boruto anime up to, over the years, give or take. And you guys who have been here for the long haul know how I feel about the Boruto anime from an objective standpoint. But it is what it is. Potentially look out for that live stream later. Now, just to kind of keep it brief, kind of like a preview of my thoughts, is that, I was excited about the Boruto anime when it just started, but as it went on, the reality of its release schedule kind of became apparent, and I think it's outside of myself, it became much more apparent in the persons who are very mainstream in their approach to consuming the Boruto anime, because mainly they kind of just consume the anime and not the manga per se. So for the persons who gave it a shot and kind of ended up hating it and saying it's a waste of time, even though I don't completely align myself with that viewpoint, I can definitely empathize and understand where they came from when it comes on to the Boruto anime and the roller coaster ride that it was in terms of maintaining engagement with persons for the long term. Because to kind of keep it in a nutshell, a lot of persons would say a lot of the episodes as fluff, as filler. So yeah, but I've said my preview piece here. Potential, as I said, look out for that live stream later. I guess we'll discuss and reflect on the Boruto anime, including this episode as well, outside of me doing my reaction and review here. So yeah, but I think I've rambled on long enough. Good morning again. Hope you guys have had breakfast. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts, leave your favorite moments for the stream or just your general thoughts on this episode and my thoughts here. Of course, subscriber on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and shout out to the new and returning subscribers. I think I've rambled on long enough for this intro. Of course, I'll leave the timestamp so you can probably skip it if you're just really interested in the reaction and the review, but it is what it is. Sanjay Uchiha, let's get into episode 293. Alright, so here we have it. Farewell. I guess a fitting title. Yes, sir. No dialogue. Complete flashbacks. And of course, this is from Naruto's perspective. Ah, look at little Boruto. Again, similar to like the last few episodes, the art is looking, art, the lighting, shading, everything just looks, from an art's perspective, it looks really good. Love that look on Naruto's face. Me, yo, given what happened in the manga, last chapter, it seems rightfully so for me to comedically say, me the main character now, with Kawaki on screen there, so. Yo, Jesus, beast. Mansa really dog. I'm in a business. Mansa cuttings. Mansa no, brother. Yo. Alright. Yo. Stop it. Alright. Whoa. Fist palm. The animation looks better than last week. Yeah. Man said, dog, wake up. You're still the Okage, dog. Daikoku 10 Sukune Kono combo. Undefeated. Well, not really, but. Kawaki has a fetish for blowing people's heads off, apparently. Yeah. Clean.
You triggered my trap card!
Man say, yo, trap card, brother. Yo, the man that's ready. So, yo, dog, who that fight, dog? Yo, there was the menace, the dog. The man just looks, I'm ready to kill anybody. You know, it's funny because Shikamaru. This is the thing. Shikamaru must be the most stressed person in the organization. Because the man say, yo, dog, me think X and Y can happen though. Me can see it from 50 miles away. And so said, so done. Especially with these last few manga chapters. Yo, whenever the story gets to the more of the climax, but like the resolution and things can go back to normal. Manga readers know what I'm talking about. Shikamaru Gano said, "Jeez, and peace, that me know said this gonna happen, bro. Honestly, me call it from 50 miles away, 50 years away. Anybody with a brain could have seen it, but no, not you, Naruto. Jeez." Man, fully regen. With more markings. Momoshiki! Man, so can't lose it, dog. I would say more than heart, heart and the lungs. Well, this is a massive change. Fully Otsutsuki. Fully Otsutsified. Man, say, alright. Yeah, go on tough. Me keep pile on the bad news. Man, say. You think of that minute I talk about, dog? Yo, the man just a wait. So soon now, no, the prophecy not come yet. Complete menace, bro. Could look so smug and confident. Oh. Wow, they changed how this interaction when compared to the manga. Ooh, interesting angle. Bro, it's so obvious what they're doing here, bro. They're doing some kind of weird parallel with the time skip with them being on the Hokage monuments. Clearly, these have the same pose basically. Yo, nah, we see them obviously. Ooh. Let's go. Yes, sir. All right, so that was Boruto episode 293, and wow, honestly, that was a good episode. Good episode. I can't really complain about much, to say the least. We get into the aftermath of Kawaki seemingly killing Boruto and the final confrontation with Code in the forest there, all for them to end up back in the village to, you know, move forward with the story. And again, the way they even ended the episode there, obviously I don't know if they I don't think as a manga reader, I don't think that sequence was meant as like an actual thing. I think it's meant as like more of like a dream sequence. Maybe because it was just kind of odd. I think it was more along the lines of commemorating the fact that, yo, we're at the end of part 1, quote unquote, foreshadowing for some stuff that's to come in the manga. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the persons who read the manga, and just kind of tie it back to where this all started for the most part. So I think that last sequence was more along the lines of being a bit meta about the fact that we're ending there. So that's just my 2 cents. But outside of that, I thought this was an awesome episode. Again, the art, very consistent, to say the least. And I think the quality and consistency of the animation in this episode is what persons really wanted for the last 2 to 3 episodes, give or take, because I think, consistently speaking, especially with those Code versus Kawashiki exchanges, they didn't seem off. I'm no animation expert, but sometimes I can see like when this kind of look a bit lazy, a bit stiff there, you know. And for example, when, you know, Boruto was going up against Code and he did the initial Rasengan, and I said, oh, how the Rasengan you look so lazy, you know, stuff like that. So the animation was definitely consistent throughout the fight sequences in this episode. So definitely kudos to the production staff, their art, animation, music choice, definitely good as well. Now, outside of all of the real world production matters that went into this episode, we have to talk about the contents of the episode itself, because it's quite a bit to digest, and it's a major, I guess, foreshadowing our foundation building to certain events that are going to be happening later on in part 2, if and when it comes back. So, yeah. So of course we have Kawaki, who has killed Boruto, and he has moved on to say, yo, let's get rid of Code. I'll get rid of any threat to Lord Seven's life. And like I was saying before, the exchange and animation, and the choreography, it was fun to watch. Even though it was short for this episode in terms of the fighting, I definitely love seeing just the overall consistency of it, you know? It's a breath of fresh air, and what I've been expecting, what I've been looking forward to, at least, you know, in terms of animation and fight quality when it comes on to, you know, this section of the arc, to say the least. So that's one. Of course, we have Naruto in this episode just coming to terms with the fact that his son is dead. And what I love about this is that, you know, over the course of the Naruto story, they've at least the way things were marketed in the old shinobi system of, being a tool, being emotionless, getting the job done, putting the way of the shinobi before the family, before your loved ones, etc., etc. We've kind of come full circle, and even though we would still want to market it as, you still have your job and your role to do as, a shinobi, as the Hokage in this specific instance, we see the conflict that's in Naruto in this episode, because at the end of the day, he is still a father, still a parent. And I think that's the message that really gets, shouted to us, the audience, with this episode. The conflict between, your job as the leader of a nation and, as a father, as a parent. And I think it was really and truly beautiful, because I think that's, retrospectively, even though we already knew that was the case, even though they really push Naruto as being busy and don't really have as much time for his family since he's the Hokage, he genuinely cares about his family. He's still a parent at the end of the day. And it's honestly good to see that conflict on screen with him holding Boruto, and even the flashback that he had to all those moments with Boruto over the course of the series, even when Boruto was just a baby. Awesome of them to actually add that in, rightfully so. It actually sells the message of what Naruto is feeling all the more, like even more, to say the least. And it's just, it's a conflict, man, just having your job. And I think it really sells home the message I think Kishimoto wanted to sell at the time with the Boruto Naruto the movie story, or the Chunin exam arc, of being busy, but you genuinely do care about your family and want to take care of them, and trying to find that balance between wanting to be a father and achieving your goals, etc. So a lot of subtle nuance is there in terms of how that dynamic, that interaction between Boruto's dead body, quote unquote, and Naruto in this episode. And the voice actress definitely gave a nice performance, made it very believable of how, Naruto was in shock. And even the character acting, just the fact that Naruto's just there, and this is a prime opportunity to actually take out Code, and he's just frozen because he can't believe it. So I definitely appreciate that. It sells the as I would have said from my Yu Yu Hakusho reaction discussion video on that I did a few weeks ago, give or take, in terms of Justin Cook's phrase, the unidentifiable level of humanity to it. Yes, that is it, honestly. So that really helped to sell the episode even more, to say the least. Now, of course, given the situation and Code being backed into a corner, of course, he draws for Daemon with the reflecting ability, getting him out of the situation and allowing him to escape. So there's that. And some seeds of conflict is seemingly brewing between Ada and Code. It could be a sign of things to come. It seems as time goes on, their relationship gets more and more rocky, to say the least. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that will culminate. And of course, the hanging thread of Code having his limiters removed, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, of course, moving on from that, the matter of Kawaki, as Shikamaru confronts Naruto on Kawaki, despite him having to kill Boruto and them understanding the reasons why. Shikamaru has concerns, to say the least, in terms of how Kawaki will go to any lengths to achieve his goal. And of course, this does tie back to the whole idea of them talking about Kawaki and his admiration and love for Naruto to be somewhat not 100% healthy. It seems like madness, obsessive. And it kind of speaks to, I guess, having Naruto take him in and where he's coming from, and how, potentially speaking, his transition to the village in terms of just transitioning from one extreme to the other might have not been handled properly. So that's something to actually talk about, kind of introducing this love to him, like right in his face, like just like that. Seems like it might have had that negative silver lining. So I think Shikamaru is rightfully concerned, to say the least. And rightfully so, because it kind of leaves this wild card kind of thing where this air of unpredictability where Shikamaru does not vibe with that. So it sets the foundation really and truly for potential emotional and physical conflict whenever Boruto Part 2 comes on. And again, manga readers know that potential conflict, we're seeing the fruits of it right now. So I definitely like looking back at this stage of the story. You can see that the stage was really and truly being set for a lot of things that are happening now or will be happening in the future of the story. So I definitely like that. Going on from that, they definitely changed the interactions that happened with Kawaki when he came back to the village, because manga wise, when he woke up, I believe Naruto was already there waiting for him, like to wake up, and he wasn't as frantic compared to how it was portrayed here in the anime. So there's that. But of course, as I said earlier in the at least this review section, that seemed like it was a way to kind of wrap up and become very meta about the fact that we're ending part 1 essentially, because of course you see them quickly transition to Boruto and Kawaki on the Hokage monument, and just how it was framed and showcased. I knew right away as you saw from my reaction that they're kind of framing this as a way to kind of draw parallels to part 1, well, part 1 to episode 1, the flash forward, the time skip of them being on the Hokage monuments. So that was really obvious to see. And even the foundation of them, even the act of them laying the foundation of emotional and physical conflicts to come between Kawaki and Boruto, or Kawaki and the village, it's obvious to see with the dialogue choice that they had with Kawaki and Boruto on the Hokage monument, of them actually just talking about Kawaki asking Boruto, what do you consider to be everything? And your friends, family, the village. Again, manga readers will find the choice of dialogue there very interesting. But it is a legitimate question all the same. And it does seem like it's setting up Boruto and Kawaki to be in conflict at the end of the day, despite the revelation of the fact that Momoshiki can't revive by the end of this episode, essentially. So that even kind of shouts to me even more that this is being set up as like a kind of meta marketing thing for part 2, because it's not like, at least based on the information revealed in this episode, Boruto is no longer a threat. So for Kawaki by the end here, even though of course he hasn't learned the fact that Boruto isn't no longer a threat, the fact that it seems like some time has passed based on how they're portraying it, them being on the Hokage monuments. You would think that Kawaki would have learned the fact that Boruto is no longer a threat by that time, and the fact that he's still talking about Boruto as a threat, it seems more like as I said, an outer universe meta thing for them to kind of set up part 2 and advertise and get persons hyped for part 2 for the conflict between Boruto and Kawaki essentially. And of course, again, selling and re-emphasizing the flash forward. But of course, as I speak about the end of the episode, Momoshiki revealing that he had to use parts of his body from the karma that was meant for him to actually revive Boruto, because he doesn't want his soul to be extinguished. And of course, Boruto is full Otsutsuki now, which signifies from a power standpoint that there is, well, like I think I would have mentioned last episode, in terms of the true nature of the karma and getting the experience of the Otsutsuki, there is that roadmap for Boruto to really and truly surpass the previous generation. So there's that. So I definitely love what they're doing. And of course, Momoshiki being the menace, reminding us that that prophecy, it's still a thing. I just I keep saying this, but for those of you who saw my reaction to the latest Boruto chapter, how much I've been loving Momoshiki's reactions when it comes out to this whole prophecy. It's actually insane, dogs, honestly. So yeah, but all in all, I thought it was a good episode to end on. And it's funny, I think, and I probably will talk about this in the stream later on, the fact that this is the final episode and we're flashing back and there's no, I mean, Given where we are in the story, it's to be expected, but again, there's no mention, flashback to any anime only moments, no nothing, no credits rolling and them just rolling through a lot of the anime only moments. I don't know, to me that's a subtle nudge at it's anime only moments, man. I think persons who hate a lot of the anime only, well, not really hate, but kind of got tired of a lot of the anime only content will say like, oh, see that? They're not even acknowledge it. So yeah, it is what it is, you know, it's all the same. But yeah, good episode. Love the action, love the animation, love the art. Consistently good throughout for the most part. Them actually, you know, setting the foundation for emotional and physical conflict in the future when part 2 comes out. Not only when it comes on to Ada and, you know, Damon and Code, but in the village as well between Kawaki and the village. And also being reminded of the prophecy, you know, the stage is being set for something big. I think that's what this episode really helped to sell. Outside of the awesome, you know, nuance of the, you know, the father son, you know, my role as a leader of a nation or village dynamic that we had with Naruto and Boruto there. And yeah, it's just an overall awesome episode. And of course, the cliche OST choice, pretty good same way. So yeah. Anyway, Sanjay Uchiha, I need to go get some breakfast. This is the final reaction review for the Boruto anime for now. So join me for the stream later, and hope you guys comment, you know, with your favorite moments from the anime so far. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, like, naturally, all of that YouTube jazz and blues, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys have an awesome day.